I still can't imagine. Like I said, I'm 90 days in.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't imagine being sober for the next 40 years.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
Christine, biggest, right there. She said, if you don't stop drinking, you're gone. You'll be out on your ass. You'll be dead. She was like, give you 3 years. You go back drinking. You'll be dead. You have cirrhosis of the liver. You won't function. I was at the point where I was drinking, I was shaking. Like, my hand would shake. My hand, since I stopped drinking, my hand hasn't shaken. When I was drinking, I was puking. I'm drinking a fake beer now. I'm not puking. But.
Have you fallen since then? Once?
No, I haven't fallen.
What's that temptation like?
Oh, the temptation's there every day.
Yeah. It's
there every day. I had 2 weeks ago, I went to a food truck festival. And you can figure, it's going to be food trucks, whatever. And
they have that beer truck there.
Yeah, that beer truck there. And that was a trigger for me.
Really?
That was a trigger.
What'd you do?
I just white-knuckled it.
Did you leave? Like, what are some of the tools you learned in rehab to get away from that?
There's got to be some kind of like safe zone for you now, where like you're starting to feel like you're going down there. You got to.
You learn your coping skills. Your breathing. I'm big on counting. If I feel anxiety,
you want to teach Mike?
Well, Mike can't count past 10 with his shoes on.
Kevin could go to 7, and he's like, "Where was I?"
But you learn coping skills and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I want to learn. I want to learn some of the coping skills, because you've had this 20-year run, more than that, 28-year run, almost 30-year run of drinking. You just don't stop that habit overnight. So you had to learn some tools. So what are some of the tools that we can pass on to our audience?
I definitely get a nap a day. Definitely get that in.
So do
I. Breathing, box breathing.
Box breathing, the 4 in, 4 out?
4 in, 4 out.
And 4 down. Yeah.
Yep. Box breathing. Like I said, I'm big on counting. Meditation.
I say it here a lot. Meditation has saved me more than I can tell you.
Meditation. And find somebody to talk to. I mean, I got you guys. I mean,
you got inappropriate texts.
Right. I mean, that's what I do. That's my weird way of saying I'm still here.
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
You know what I mean? I might send out something stupid, something that my kid sent me or whatever. Yeah. But that's my way of letting you guys know I'm still here.
Yeah. You gotta surface. Because everybody was really worried about you.
Yeah, he dropped off for a while at one point, and everybody was, we were texting. He said, I think we left him off of a couple texts. Like, anybody hear from Tom recently?
Yeah. That usually happens in our group text when there's concern. You get left off of that fucking text.
Yeah. Hey, look, I left so-and-so out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. I know I've been the subject of that once or twice. I know he has been the subject of that once or twice. Usually it comes around our anniversaries where like, hey, Kevin got the text. I already know what's happening. Yeah. But you were left off some text for that reason, because people were starting to get really, really concerned.
I'm sure.
And then you have some people on there that text nothing but alcohol pictures.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, prior to that, you were, but you had that. So you even looked like you were going downhill. Like you went full bore down the rabbit hole. Remember the long beard? You look like fucking Santa Claus.
Well, I live up in Sussex County, man.
You got to fit in.
I grew the beard. I bought the pickup truck. I mean, I went all in.
Now you were living in Sussex and drinking in Bayonne.
Yeah.
That bad, and then driving all the way home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Someone
was on your side.
As bad as it got, do you realize how much worse it could have gotten?
Yeah, I got out of a DWI.
Yeah.
Trooper came up, saw the plates on the truck, and was like, God bless the state police.
Yeah. You're lucky. It didn't happen around 2008 or 9. They would have did you.
Yeah.
They would have did you. And that actually, I know that case, why they would have did you. One of the troopers got banged for DWI at Caldwell because he hit somebody. There's nothing he could do.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, thank God you never hit anybody. I mean, that would have been...
Well, you practiced.
It's
30 years of practice.
Yeah. Professional at this point.
Yeah, I know how to duck and weave.
So
shuck and jive.
I'm a big subscriber to the one day at a time in many aspects of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Do you subscribe to that?
Absolutely.
Because that forever, I can never drink again, is such a long time.
Well, I look at it exactly. I'm 48. I think every day.
By the way, I want everybody to know Tom and I are the same age. All of a sudden, I ain't so bad looking. Look at this guy. Looks like he got out
Put
of...
the track picture back up.
It looks like he got out of Chernobyl.
Hey, I'm 56, so I'm doing all right for myself. Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes us both feel better.
Carry on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I still can't imagine. Like I said, I'm 90 days in.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't imagine being sober for the next 40 years.
Why would you think about that? It's not here yet.
Exactly.
How about you think about being sober for today?
Right.
And then tomorrow, I always say, jump that hurdle when you get to it.
So tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to wake up, take my meds, got my dogs, got my lady, got you guys, got other support factors in my life.
The sad part is I don't know whether Mike feels this way, but I felt that, especially when things got real bad for you, we had to let you fall. It's not that we didn't care about you, because we really did. But in my mind, there was nothing I could say to you, nothing I could do to you that would make you understand that there's people out here to care for you, that just shy of saying, bro, you're hurting us real bad.
Right.
You're hurting us. But getting back to that one day at a time thing, I live my life one day at a time. Like, my relationship with my wife. It wasn't good yesterday, but it's good today. All right, so I'm going to focus on today. I'm not going to worry about the sustainability of that right now until I get some time in there. You got 90 days under your belt, so what that feels like. You've already started to create that habit.
Right.
But we talked about this with running before. We would go out running, have a tough run. Well, I just got to get to that next telephone pole, and then I'll worry about it afterwards.
Right.
And you tell yourself, if I just get to that next telephone pole, then we'll think about stopping. And then that telephone pole becomes another one and another one and another one. And so you can use it in all different aspects of your life. But with sobriety, geez.
It's funny.
tough.
People say all the time, like, hey, how you doing? I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Right.
I woke up this morning, my feet started moving, now I could take on today. Tomorrow, I'll wake up, and then take on that day. Live one day at a time now.
Right.
I mean, I'd even do it with something stupid. I got a lot of hip pain now, like a lot of hip pain. I do something as stupid as that.
And he calls me old.
And, it's easy not to have hip pain when you're 5'6".
Right. You short it to the ground,
Yeah,
gravity.
Exactly.
Hey, Joe, could you speed up that clock a little bit? We got to get out of here. I'm starting to catch heat.
But if I wake up in the morning and there's no hip pain, I'm like, great.
Right.
Well, guess what? I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I actually got to get them done, but it's just everything in your life, one day at a time, one day, and surround yourself too, because I imagine you had this group of friends for 30 years who were like, hey, Tom, let's go out to the bar.
Right.
Let's go do our thing.
I mean, still got the friends in the electrical union. They're all coming up on retirement and having retirement parties and shit like that. I ain't going.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Why put yourself in that position?
I'm what am I? I'm like 8. I never counted, so I'm like 8 years where I'm sober, and it's almost to the point now where I can say to myself, you know what, I got this, I can do it, but I don't, because I know if I drink tonight, I'll get away with it, and then tomorrow I'll be like, I got away with it last night, I can get away with it tonight. So
we did go out to dinner one night and you had a glass of wine.
I did. I did have a glass of wine.
Yeah, I was like, uh-oh.
And afterwards, I felt guilty as shit. I really did. I was like, no, this isn't me. This isn't me.
So that could have went either one of two ways.
It could have been went bad. It could have went bad. And I did it to be more social than anything else, but that's just not me anymore.
Yeah.
But so the repairing of your relationships in your sober life. Talk to me about that.
Well, definitely working on a relationship with my son. Mm-hmm. He's 16 now.
He saw all this shit.
He saw
the shit.
He saw it. You know what I mean? He saw it. He saw how I was acting. He would come up to the house and see me drinking. I would drink around him. Mm-hmm. He saw my behavior.
And then that's how you started drinking.
Yeah.
Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to go down that road.
Well, they got. I don't know whether you believe this or not. I don't know whether there's any medical evidence of this, but I always was told since I was a little kid that it's in your blood. Like it's in my blood.
Oh,
They say addiction's hereditary.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that.
And but you that repairing of the relationship with your son. maybe he needs to hear this stuff that you're talking about to know how you started and the path that you took.
Yeah.
So he can avoid it.
Right.
You know, we all want our kids to learn from our own mistakes. We make the mistakes so they don't have to.
Absolutely. We do it so they don't have to. You're right.
Right. So what's next for you? Like you're in IOP now, right?
I'm in IOP. Go 3 days a week. It's actually a good program. It's for first responders and military veterans.
What's it called? Let's throw out a shout out to them.
It's Recovery Centers of America.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working with 2 really good counselors, Michelle and Brian.
Do they know about the tracks message? 'Cause we can send that over.
We can send it to him if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can send it to him. Fuck it. I'm not gonna shit. He's fucking the guy Brian. He's a cop. He won't say where,
Yeah.
but he'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. They try to those
Just to let you know, I've had that on my phone like since it.
I got it on my phone. It might be a Christmas card one year.
yeah. That picture, we can do so much with that
From the
picture.
Schmittlers.
So what's new about sober life? What's different? How you looking at things?
I'm looking at things totally different. I mean, like you said, one day at a time.
Well, what's one thing? Just give me one thing that's changed since you've been sober.
One thing that's changed since I've been sober is
He's got more cash in his pocket.
You,
Yeah.
you can finally get that erection you always wanted.
yeah, I'm a little short down there. But one thing that's been different, my communication with Christine. We're definitely talking more. Getting it out there.
You went through that suffering with her, and she went through it too.
She went through it too. Yeah, you're not the only one that suffered.
Yeah. I know, I put her through hell.
Did she ever look at you sideways now, like, you sure you didn't drink?
Yeah, she'll ask. She'll ask, you know.
And now
Or if you disappear for a couple hours.
If I say I'm going, I have a brother that lives in Bayonne, and we're going through some stuff with the house and stuff, and I'm like, hey, I have to go to Bayonne tomorrow. She's like,
Yeah, it's got to be like a nightmare for her. Like, oh, shit.
She's like, I don't want you to go to Bayonne. It's like, that's her trip.
Yeah.
So what happens if you trip? Because we all trip from time to time.
I'm trying not to.
But do you have a plan in place if you do?
Nah.
No.
I have no plan. I have no sponsor.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you go like 12-step program or
Nah,
with sponsors, nothing like that?
I'm white knuckling it.
Well, I'm gonna get you in contact with our friend Charlie over there.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass on your information with your permission, and because I speak to him a lot about stuff, and he's just got so much knowledge on sober lifestyle.
Incredible guy. You're going to love Charlie once you talk to him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he really is a good guy.
Because that's what it's all about. It's all about having the resources and surrounding yourself with the right people. And you always can reach out to us. That's not. But we're not addiction specialists. We don't have 30 years in the system.
Right. We're not addiction specialists. Kevin's just a dick.
Big one.
Yeah.
Right. He's Irish. Come on, don't let him fool you.
He's half Irish. Guess what part of his half?
Yeah.
But I mean, even like Kevin said, we're here for you. You know that.
I know.
Through this podcast, we've made so many connections. I mean, we have a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like Adam Burt would be perfect for him.
Adam would be great. Have you found any type of faith or anything?
No, I haven't found that quote unquote higher power yet.
Yeah.
They talk about it in group.
Right.
You have to find it.
That's a 12-step.
That's a 12 step.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to a meeting. I've looked at meetings, but I'm like,
Well, one of the things
Even Brad.
Brad would be good. Brad Wadby, he'd be real good for
Brad
you.
would be
'cause
great for
he
you.
He went to where did he go? Warriors Heart.
Yeah.
Then you got Erica Blue from Blue Magazine. She's another one. You
Yeah.
know, so we don't have these answers. We just know where to find them.
Right.
And that's what it's about. It's
And that's what this podcast has really done for us.
you get into that spot and you're like, what the fuck do I do now? And it's not an embarrassment thing because listen,
No.
I've been in positions where I've talked about them. And they used to embarrass the hell out of me. Yeah, I've been in psych wards. I've been in rehab.
Sure, some of the positions you've been in recently really embarrass the shit out of you. If anybody knew it.
that's why I changed the shirt before the show.
Of course. I was starting to get a little sweaty.
Had stains on it.
Yeah. But you gotta reach out and forego your ego. If that ever does happen, just there's things that I do talk about before Mike so rudely interrupted me. There's things I do talk about that are super embarrassing to me. They really are. My relationship, what I did to my wife, what I did to myself, what I did to other people. But you've already I know one of the steps is surrendering to your higher power. You realize you're already not a higher power, but you already surrendered.
Right.
This thing's bigger than you, and that's the surrender. You finally admit it to yourself. You have a problem.
Oh, definitely.
Right? So you've already hit that step.
Oh, I know I'm an alcoholic. I know it's there. It's in my genes.
Yeah.
I definitely know it's an addiction. I believe that it's part mental.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, we can go.
It's funny. That's one thing that Brad said too. If you remember that on his episode, he said somebody came up to me and said, "Are you ready to surrender?" He's like, "I never surrendered to anything." He goes, "He didn't realize what it was, and then he wound up surrendering to a higher power, and turned his life around."
So when the next time that comes, next time those thoughts come, you got to have that go-to person,
Right.
whoever it may be, whether it's Christine, your fiance, you're going to get married again.
I don't know. Fucking,
what do you do?
I've been engaged fucking 8 years. Like,
Yeah, why do it now?
You know, we're picking out colors for fucking siding.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
why would you do that?
You know.
Like, dude, you just recovered from one addiction. You're going to go into another addiction. Come on.
Well, when you take her to Aruba for her birthday, make it a nice location wedding.
Well, if you had your way next year at this time, I'd love to have you back to see how much your life has changed.
Right.
And you got to, even if you trip, it's actually, it's understandable if you trip, and I hope you don't. But I'd love to have you back to just sit there and talk to you and pick your brain and find out what has gotten better in your life. Because, you're 48 years old. Your life ain't over.
Right.
You got so much left to do. You've never seen the world as an adult through sober eyes. You realize that.
I don't know who Sober Tom is.
He still hasn't met Sober Tom yet. Never mind
yeah.
seeing the world through sober eyes.
Yeah.
Sober Tom. Sober Tom.
Sober Schmitty.
Sober Schmitty near beer. Sober Schmitty 00. That's it. But I'd love to invite you back.
Okay.
If in a year's time, find out where you go to make sure you're still working the program. And also, you got to remember, you're not bigger than this. I don't care how tough you are.
Right.
That's something I've learned about myself. I'm not bigger than anything. So,
and if you ever did trip, the big thing is getting back up from it.
Right.
because we all trip.
You're going to have a stumble. Hopefully, like Kevin said, hopefully you don't. But even if you stumble, it's how you react to that stumble and pick yourself up and keep going.
Right.
So we're coming to the end of this thing, Tom, and you've lived a 30-year mess. I mean, it's a mess.
And he says that in a nice way.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it is. It is.
Oh, it's a shit show, bro.
Hey, when you're at the bottom of the stairs, there's only one way to go. It's to go up, right?
When you're drunk and you're at the top of the stairs, you can go down in a heartbeat.
You go down real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So if you had to think about some of the stuff that you've learned throughout this 30-year journey of alcohol abuse, what do you think your suffering's taught you?
That's a tough question. I don't think I have an answer for it.
That's a first.
Yeah, that's first.
That's a first. I've learned a couple things about you, though. I've learned that you're this unbelievably nice guy. You really are. You have a gigantic heart.
And funny as shit, too.
Oh, you're hilarious.
Some of the texts.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you have this one thing that is able to be overlooked because of all the great things about your characteristics. It's like seeing a masterpiece painting, but it's just got that one little thing on the corner. But unfortunately, that one little mistake on the corner is the thing that everybody looks at and everybody points to. But over time, those mistakes will fade. So all those great things that Tom Schmittler is, they're going to come out and they're going to see the light.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, what else am I going to say?
Okay.
You fucking queer.
He's trying to get deep on you, Tom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He does this usually once a show.
Bring me right back. Bring me right back. Tom, thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
in today.
guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Tom, you're a friend. You're a great guy, and we'll always be here for you.
Thanks, Mike.
And that's going to do it for this episode of The Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of Sobriety with Tom Schmittler, a.k.a. Schmitty, a.k.a. the track master. And let's think about all the stuff that we learned today. It's number one, don't eat crayons. It's not a problem until it's a problem, which seems to be your chronicle of life. Drinking on the job is never a good idea. Another bad idea is threatening your supervisors.
Right.
But most importantly, Christine and I want you to listen to this. Christine is your angel.
Yes, she is.
Okay. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow Mike at Mike_Failace. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson. And we will see you on the next episode of the Suffering Podcast.